Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the RamsTalkPodcast. We've got another preview for you today, and I'm joined by a contributor to the Speak Sunderland podcast. It's Ridders. Ridders, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. The football helps, as you know. That tends to sort my mood out. So, at the moment, all good.
Good. So, obviously, we're recording this before this weekend's fixtures. So there's a load of games on Saturday. Derby play Norwich this Saturday. When this goes out, that game will have finished. So there might be a few things that don't quite sound up to date that we're speaking about in this episode. But yeah, bear in mind that this is being recorded on a Thursday, and we don't have we play Sunderland on the Tuesday, so we've got a little bit of time in between. But to get us started, Sunderland, the club itself, what you've been through in recent years, where you are now, what's the general mood around the club this season?
This obviously, as we stand at the moment, I'd like to say we're on top of the world. As you know, everyone's seen the documentaries and us going. Obviously you've been there yourselves. You didn't spend as long as we did, I don't think, but we've been through the slog, we should call it, of League One, but slowly but surely we've managed to turn it around. It took a while, but at the moment we're flying in the league, and it's amazing what a few lovely Hummel kits does to your mood as well. But yeah, like you say, we're second. We probably didn't envisage that. We haven't added too many players. It's relatively the same squad as last season, barring a few additions. And yeah, we're doing really well, and we're enjoying it.
So I was going to say there, sum up the season so far, but I think you've done that pretty well. But if I had to say, sort of in 3 words, try and sum up the season so far, what would your 3 words be?
God, that's a tough one.
Putting you on the spot.
It's really enjoyable. I'll probably elaborate on that in terms of, we've got young, youthful, local boys, playing and flourishing. It is a joy to watch and to see them. As I say, it's taken a while. We've seen some absolute dross in our time in League One. So it's good to see us playing some good football that we played under Mowbray. He left. Mick Bill, less said about that the better. Then we just sort of plodded, and if the season carried on, probably an extra 5 or 6 games, we probably would have got relegated because we were in that bad of form. But yeah, just unknown coach in the summer. Is used to working with youth players that apparently in France. Got a lot of French players here, albeit not really getting in the squad. But yeah, we're really enjoying it at the minute, and you're going into games like, we can win. It's not that I don't anyway. I think we could beat anyone on our day, but obviously we can lose to anyone on our day as well. So at the moment, we're looking forward to the games, and especially now, they're coming thick and fast. I've been looking forward to the midweek games, under the lights at the Stadium of Light, which you'll be the first, and I'm gutted I'm not there. And then we play Leeds on the Friday night at home, and that'll be another amazing game. So yeah, we're just enjoying it. We know how quickly football can smack you on the backside. I'm sure as a Derby fan, you know that.
Yeah, definitely both know how that feels. I was going to mention the most recent results. You said that you feel you can beat anyone, but equally you can lose to anyone. I think some of your recent results have proven that, because the loss to Plymouth was definitely a shock. It was a shock to me. I'm sure a lot of Sunderland fans weren't expecting to rock up at Home Park and lose there. So on your most recent results, would you say that the majority you've won fairly, that you have been the dominant team, and that you've sort of deserved each of your victories, or have there been some way you've had to really battle and scrap it to get that victory over the line, or to even the Plymouth game? Do you feel that the team played poorly in that game and then bounced back in the next game? What are your thoughts on the actual style of play and how you're performing man to man this season?
It's a bit of a weird one, because the game we lost in is the game we had the most possession in. I think we had 64% in the Plymouth game, and we lost, and the rest have been between 30 and 40. So I think we're very much we'll let you have the ball, and we'll press you really, really well. and we'll pick our moments. And when we can, we've got the players. Obviously, Roberts is fine this season. Mundell replacing Clark. We've got that ability to catch you very quickly on the counter. Has been obviously it was a bit tentative the first game when we played Cardiff, but we got a result. Wasn't the prettiest game, but you take a win on your first game. Then obviously Sheffield Wednesday we're built up as this amazing team, and we're going to do really well. And again, I missed that one, and when I checked the score and someone told me it's 4-0, I couldn't believe it. But yeah, then again another game at Burnley, probably played them at the right time, but managed to get the winner and fully deserved. It wasn't sort of a smash and grab. I think we limited them to very little. And then obviously the Plymouth game, we got our manager of the month. That's always a curse.
Yeah.
A few.
That's all you had to say. That's all you had to say.
Oh, I know, and yeah, it is just one of those, and it was nice to get back. It probably was a good thing, and that sounds really weird. It's probably a good thing, maybe just to say we maybe got slightly arrogant. I don't think we are, but maybe just they've been, we could turn up, and if we play sort of 7 out of 10, we might just be able to do it. And I got a lot of respect for Plymouth, and when they get that place rocking, it's a hard place. They weren't great, but they just had us. The atmosphere was really, really good. And then to play Middlesbrough again, a massive game. We let them just have the ball, contrary to what Michael Carrick thinks that they should have won the game. I don't think that at all. I think they had one decent effort. Apart from that, we nullified, a very, very good squad and fully deserved. I don't know if you've seen the goal that we scored, a brilliant back heel by, our 17-year-old midfielder, and again, fully deserved. And like you say, that those wins just breed confidence, and you're going into every game thinking, we can beat anybody, and there isn't any real teams from the Premier League with that parachute money where you're thinking, we need to keep pace with them, and West Brom were builders, this team that are not going to do very well, and look, they're top and we're second. You wouldn't have said that probably after 5 games.
No, it's interesting there hearing you speak about the sort of style of play and saying that Sunderland are quite happy to sort of sit back and let their opposition have the ball. So we're exactly the same. We sit back and let the opposition press. So it's going to be quite an interesting clash, I think, at the Stadium of Light. So I'm looking for. I don't know if I'm actually looking forward to it or if I'm nervous for it. But we'll find out. We'll find out pretty soon how that will play out. I was going to ask as well the danger men, the Sunderland danger men. I know Patrick Roberts. He was almost a Derby Court hero in a little bit, in a way, because he came on loan to us from Man City, I think, when it was the season before we got relegated, and he scored on the final day in a game that we drew with Sheffield Wednesday, which sent them down, and it meant we stayed up. So there's a little bit of I'm sure he'll get a good reception, put it that way, from the Derby fans on Tuesday. Would you say he is the danger man, or are there any other players you give a shout out to in that category?
Yeah, he's very much a danger man. Just giving the ball, and he's started the season really, really well. Again, it's probably going to sound weird, but it was probably a good thing, even though we're gutted, that Clark left. It sort of put the onus maybe on Roberts, to say, like, now is your chance to really sort of step up, because I think our tactic previous season was, let's just get the ball to Clark, and obviously we know how good he was and how that turned out, when he got the ball. So last season he was probably missing Amad Diallo a little bit, and obviously he's gone on to Man United now. But this season seems to have started, really sharp. You're going to have to take a booking to probably get the ball off him. Probably a little bit harsh and say he needs to probably get his goals and assists up a little bit higher. I mean, he's done okay. I think he's got 3 assists and 1 goal, I think. I could be wrong, but that's probably, I think that's better than last season already. So that shows you how maybe he wasn't really good enough last season. Obviously we've got Romain Mundell the other side. He was actually brought in, I think, to replace Clark at Tottenham, and then obviously they both ended up here. Clark's obviously gone, and Romain's got his chance. And to be fair, he's another one, very, very skillful. Still a bit raw, but again, his numbers are good this season. I think he's got 3 goals, I think, and maybe 1 or 2 assists. But yeah, he's flying. Midfield, we've got Riggan and Bellingham. Bellingham started the season absolutely on fire. I mean, Rig got man of the match against Middlesbrough, but for me, Job just run the whole game. Just an amazing powerhouse, and only just turned 19. Obviously, we're a very youthful side. We've got a young striker, Mayenda, up top. It's gone a bit quiet with the goals from him up top. So we're maybe looking to him to get on the score sheet maybe in the next 1 or 2 games. Obviously, we brought in Aaron Connolly on Friday from obviously a free transfer, but he's not up to speed yet. So you probably look at Mayenda playing. But yeah, it's definitely on the flank. So we get the ball out, and can we attack those fullbacks? And like you say, it will be. I did look at your stats before to see how much possession you have, and you don't have a lot of possessions. It's a bit like, well, you have the ball, no, you have the ball. We'll see who the onus is going to be on to take control. But at home, you'd like to think that let's keep the ball then and see what we can do with it. But you never know.
Yeah, I definitely feel that for the script for our away games so far this season has sort of been go there, sit behind the ball, wait for your chance. And the one time we didn't do that was against Blackburn Rovers on the opening day of the season, and they put 4 past us. We looked really good for a spell, and then we maybe got a little bit carried away trying to play this beautiful brand of football, and all of a sudden we're 4-1 down with 3 or 4 minutes to go. So we pulled a goal back to make it 4-2, but wasn't the start to our championship return we would have really hoped for. Guy as well, I mean, you mentioned how young the Sunderland team is. I think one of the negative talking points of Derby, I think since Paul Warren's come in, has been how old our team is. And I think they've been working on that this summer. They've sort of, a lot of the older players have left on free transfers. We brought in younger players. So that it does feel like there's been a little bit of a shift with our recruitment this summer. I'm wondering I'm not sure how much you've watched Derby this season or even when we were in League One for a couple of seasons, but are there any players in the Derby team that you're a little bit wary to face, or are you pretty confident?
I tend not to worry too much about opposition. I mean, when we went down to League One, like every striker for the opposition team seemed to turn into like Diego Maradona, and we had to worry about them, and it was a strange. I don't look too much into it. Obviously, I kept an eye on you when you were in League One because I like to see what we'd perceive as the bigger clubs, how they do in League One. Like I was keeping an eye on Birmingham this season, just see how they deal with it. Because I know, again, for us it was very tough. I've obviously looked at your results, and to be fair, for a promoted team, they're decent. I think the only one I've probably mainly heard a lot about is Mendes Lang. Obviously a winger. I'm sure I think he plays on your left wing, so I'd expect our right back Trey Hume to probably smash him, shall we say, in a tackle, which he'll probably get booked for and suspended because he's on 4 bookings already. Lucky to not be sent off against Middlesbrough, but you would expect as a home game. It's more what can we do as opposed to how can the opposition how can you nullify the opposition if you see what I mean. That's not a disrespectful thing. You just think like even the other way around. I think Derby should think like play their way obviously at your place. When we come and not necessarily worry about us. That's the way I see it anyway. I mean that's had our number for years. We've gone there and thought, oh, don't worry about it, and we get smashed. So that's happened plenty of times at like Morecambe, Gillingham, teams like that. You think, well, we should wipe the floor a bit, but we didn't. So yes, it is one of them.
It kind of leads perfectly into my next question. I was going to say, do you notice a difference from Sunderland's home and away performances? Like, does Sunderland approach home games differently to away games, or is it still very much we know we're at home, but we're going to sit behind the ball, you put the pressure on us? Is it the same home and away?
I think this season is a little bit different. Obviously, last season and at home, there's that big expectation where we're the home team and we've got, there's 40-odd thousand people there. So the onus is on us to go and play our game. And a lot of times last season, we'd have like 60% of the ball, do very little. Other teams would have sort of 30% and nick 1 or 2 goals. And it wasn't always about who had the possession. It was what you necessarily do with it. Whereas this season, again, I think there's been with the crowd like trying to get them to press a lot more, and can we get the ball? And our manager seems to be very happy with we'll pick our moments, we'll be patient, we'll tighten up defensively, which is, I think we've only conceded 1 goal from open play this season, which again is good compared to last season. So there has been that onus from the crowd that you can hear as if to say, come on, let's keep it going. But he's very much very structured and say, no, we'll pick our moments, and when we do, we have got the ability to use those moments. It's got a very under Tony Mowbray. I think we didn't always have all of the possession, but what we did have, we just did it. We used it very well, and obviously we were scoring goals with sort of Clark and Roberts and Ross Stewart at times. So that in those aspects, you have to go with what the manager says, regardless of what the crowd wants. So yeah, it's been a very, very good start, very steady, and he's a Frenchman. They're known for their stubbornness, so you just sort of have to go with it. And to be fair, he seems to know what he's doing. So again, we leave him to it.
So you might not want to give too much away in case there are any of the Derby County analysis team watching this podcast. But I was going to say, what from the Sunderland team, how have you been playing this season? Obviously, you're pretty confident with the start, and it's been a very good start. But are there any weaknesses that you've identified that you feel Derby could exploit on Tuesday?
Not. I wouldn't say not really. We're tightening up on set pieces. From your perspective, I'm sure the goals you've conceded, they're good goals for the other team, but from your perspective, you'll probably say, "Oh, well, we could do better there." And they're, ours are exactly the same. Like, we've got Dan Ballard there, and sort of, he's had a bit of a shocker for two of the goals, and he's probably Mr. Dependable in defence. So I wouldn't say there's any sort of glaring weaknesses. I think if you get, we're limiting teams to chances. We've got obviously one of the better goalkeepers in the league in Patterson, and to be fair, he could probably get a deck chair out most games, and that's not me being cocky or arrogant. We've limited teams to very, very little. So if I think Middlesbrough had a chance early on and hit the crossbar, or Patterson saved it, I think if he scores that, the game opens up a lot more. We probably have to try and get on the ball a lot more. So I'm thinking that if you do get those one or two chances, you have to take them, because I think going the other way, we certainly will. But that's the only thing we've seen so far, because of how good the start is. Like I say, the goals, probably the worst ones are Plymouth, and we just, like I say, Dan Ballard's probably culpable for two, and then our young winger just lets his man go away. Keeper pushes it into an area, and it's one of them. It's like, right, okay, and that just happens, unfortunately. So there are no glaring obvious weaknesses, but you never know. You never know. We could have an absolute bad day.
Well, that kind of, we're right towards the end of the episode now. I think you'll be pleased, and I can stop firing all these questions at you one after one. But I guess we've sort of got to finish on. First, I think first of all we'll go with the away fan experience. Are there any away pubs, any park, any tips you'd give the Derby fans going to the Stadium of Light for where to go? That might have put you on the spot a little bit there, but just any advice for the travelling fans?
Nah, it's a lovely place. I don't know what the weather will be like, but the beaches are lovely. I happen to have slept on the beach in a tent overnight when I've been up there, to save on cost. But it is a really nice working class town. There's pubs right outside the ground. There's one called the Colliery Tavern. I think away fans are allowed in, and you never get any trouble, unless we're playing Newcastle, which obviously we're not. But yeah, it's really, like I say, really nice working class town. As far as I know, there's a lot of investment going into it, and obviously it's got its good parts, it's got its bad parts, as anywhere. Obviously, have a good time there, apart from sort of from kickoff to finish. But enjoy the atmosphere under the lights. It'll be, again, I'm gutted I'm not there, because it's going to be really, really nice. Evening game under lights. Yeah, I don't think you could beat those. They're the closest thing you're going to get to, your big games, sort of outside the Premier League. But yeah, and I'm sure you'll bring a decent following as well. I'm sure you always have. And I've got good memories of Derby when you won't like it, but I think we beat you 4-1 when in the Championship. It was probably our only time. We were really, really good, and I even had Ashley Fletcher to score first, and he did, bless him. Which is, everyone's like, how did you even know that? It's just one of them. But we still got relegated. So, but those are one of the nice days. And to be fair, I've always liked Derby as a club. To be fair, I mean, we've had some very good results. I still remember Kevin Phillips' hat trick years and years ago, and then Roy Keane's first away game and Ross Wallace scoring a last-minute winner. Those were the good days. Sorry to put those scores in, but yeah, I think Derby are a top club, like proper old school, like good club.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was trying not to mention that 4-1 because I remember it so vividly, being at Pride Park that night, and the fact that you were right down at the bottom of the league at the time as well, weren't you? And you turned up. We were hoping for a spot in the playoffs, and all of a sudden we lost 4-1 at home. But no, I mean, really, at the end of the day, I mean, Derby and Sunderland, the two clubs that have struggled in recent years for whatever reason off the pitch, have spent so much time. Not a crazy amount of time, but have both done our due diligence in League One. And it's definitely two teams I think shouldn't drop to the third tier again, hopefully, for a very long time. So hopefully we can stay up. Hopefully for you can try and get back to the Premier League. So I definitely think they're a club that should be back in the top flight sooner rather than later. But anyway, I'll stop buttering Sunderland up now because I've just remembered it's a Derby podcast. But your prediction for the game, if you had to give us a score line, and we'll leave it on that.
I'll probably just go with a nice 2-0. That'd be lovely, nice routine game. But again, it genuinely could be anything, anything at all. But yeah, I'm hoping for a nice 2-0 win. I mean, yeah, I'm sure I don't know if you take a point now.
I think I'd always be happy with a point away from home. We haven't won away from home yet this season, so if we turn up at the Stadium of Light and come home with a point, I think that'll be quite a happy travelling support going back to Derby. But it's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you for hopping on and having a chat with us. I think it's just over 20 minutes we've been chatting for now. So do you want to let the viewers know where they can find you if they want to see the Sunderland scoop?
Yeah, there's obviously Speak Sunderland podcast. There's plenty of Sunderland podcasts. To be fair, they're all quality. They'll moan amongst each other, but there's some really, really good stuff out there, and have a look if you want. I've listened to plenty of previews as well, and I'll be listening to the Derby one as well. So yeah, like I say, good luck for the season. Like I say, a proper club probably deserves to be back up there as much as we do. So yeah, like I say, a really, really good old school, from the old Premier League days when I was growing up. So yeah, top club, and good luck with the rest of the season, barring when you play us.
Nice one, thank you. I mean, that's the end of this episode then, guys. So if you have enjoyed it, please do subscribe. Please do leave a comment, leave a like. I know for a fact we're going to have a lot more previews come out this season. So thank you once again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.